Hi, good evening. Welcome to the Treasure Coast, Florida chapter of the Links, programming this evening on discovering treasures of home ownership. My name is Phyllis Gillespie, and I have the pleasure of serving as our chapter's president. What is the Links? Who are the Links, I should say? Well, let me tell you a little bit about the Links Incorporated, and then I'll tell you a little bit about our chapter. The Links Incorporated was founded on November the 9th, 1946, by Margaret Roselle Hawkins and her dear friend, Sarah Strickland Scott. They invited 7 of their friends to gather together and organize an organization that would address the need of women of color and provide an avenue for them to do service and share friendship. From 1946 to date, we have over 288 chapters throughout the United States, United Kingdom, and the Bahamas. There are over 16,000 women of color who belong to the Links Incorporated. And we are just so pleased that we have been able to, on a national level, collectively, give millions of dollars to various causes and provide over 1 million service hours, providing community service work through our different programs. The Treasure Coast, Florida chapter of the Links was founded in October 1976, and it encompasses 3 counties, Indian River, St. Lucie, and Martin County, where we have over 40 women, active and alumni members who provide community service while we get to enjoy the friendship of each other. And through the community service, we've given thousands and thousands of dollars in scholarships to high school graduates in the 3 counties. We've given thousands of dollars to HBCUs. We have given money to various programs and causes in our community. And we have provided over 5,000 community service hours a year to providing various programs in our community. Most notably, our award-winning programs have been metabolic syndrome and our program dealing with human trafficking. We do believe that tonight and throughout the series that you will get to enjoy, that we have developed another award-winning program. To tell you more about the program and to introduce to you our presenters tonight, I give to you Dr. Wilhelmina Lewis-Lyons, who is the CEO of Florida Community Health Centers. I bring you Dr. Lewis-Lyons. Thank you very much. Welcome, and thank you for attending our event this evening.
Good evening. Thank you all so much again for joining us. And we want to thank our president, Phyllis Gillespie, for that wonderful introduction to the work of the Treasure Coast chapter of the Links Incorporated. We are so excited to have the opportunity to share with you this evening and over the coming weeks some programming that we believe will be transformational for the Treasure Coast. We are so excited about having the opportunity to have people learn more about important financial issues, as well as to gain skills in the area of finance and to increase the number of African American homeowners in St. Lucie, Martin, and Indian River counties. We know that this has been an area of challenge for us, and as the ladies who will be sharing the predominance of the information this evening will show you, there is some really compelling information and statistics behind why this programming is so very, very important. This evening, I do want to ask that in order to maximize your ability to participate and to actually gain the information, I suggest that you do change from the gallery view to the speaker view. And again, change from the gallery view to the speaker view for this programming. And also, please utilize the chat to share any questions that you may have over the course of this evening, and we will make sure that your questions are answered. I want to introduce you to the dynamic women who will be sharing with you more information about tonight's programming and helping you to understand an overview of what we will be covering in the weeks to come. Tanya Lowe is an insurance and financial services professional representing State Farm Insurance. A Jacksonville, Florida native, Tanya has been in the insurance and financial services industry for 30 years. Tanya holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Florida, a chartered life underwriter degree from the American College of Financial Services, and a designation from the Insurance Institute of America. Prior to starting her own State Farm agency, Tanya was a corporate educator and business consultant for State Farm Insurance Company, where she taught and created curriculum instrumental in improving the overall performance of employees and agents. Helen Henderson was born and raised in New York City. She attended Bethune-Cookman University, where she received a dual bachelor's degree in psychology and criminal justice. Thereafter, Helen received her master's degree in criminal justice from the State University of New York at Albany. Helen relocated to St. Lucie County in 2003, where she's been an active and vocal member of her community. Helen is an experienced educator and currently holds the title of Department Chair for Criminal Justice and Homeland Security at Kaiser University. Helen has a passion for public service. She is a former United States pretrial and probation officer, former Department of Children and Families investigator and case manager, and a former employee of the Department of Juvenile Justice. In her spare time, Helen volunteers with Mustard Seed, local food banks, and Big Brothers Big Sisters. So without further ado this evening, we want to make sure that we give you plenty of time to take part in this incredible Zoom session where you're going to gain some really wonderful information. And so I turn this program over now to both Tanya Lowe and Helen Henderson.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. I just want to, again, thank you all for being here this evening. We have great information that we are going to share with you, and I can't wait to hear your reaction after it's all over. Next slide, please. So why did we create this program? I want to tell you a little bit about the mission and the vision. I want to remind you all, the title of this program is called Discovering the Treasures of Home Ownership. And we really want to emphasize to the African American community that home ownership is a true treasure, one that we should seek to achieve. And if we are current homeowners, one that we should work towards making sure that we protect our home, our assets. So the mission and the vision of our program is to increase the buying power in the African American community and empower the community to become financially savvy, which we believe will lead to an increase to newly purchased homes and the retention of existing homes. What we want to also see is a change in the African American community that focuses on building wealth and leaving legacies instead of leaving liabilities. The way that we plan to do this with this upcoming program is through a series of financial workshops and webinars. And through these webinars and workshops, we will educate our program participants about saving, investing, credit management, budgeting, home ownership counseling, mortgage and financing options. And we are also going to be providing extensive education on how to prevent heirs property situations, how to draft a will or trust, and advance directives. We want to not only work with our first-time homeowners, but we want to also encourage our existing African American homeowners to purchase additional property. We want to see generational home ownership and transfer of wealth within the African American community. Again, we are striving to ensure that our community are leaving legacies as opposed to liabilities. Next slide. So here's a breakdown. As you can see here, we are going to be working with first-time home buyers. And the goal here is to assist in the home buying process from beginning to end. we want to be able to get across to our participants, the home ownership, the benefits of home ownership. Again, going back to the title of our program, helping our participants truly embrace the fact that it is a treasure to be a homeowner. There's treasure in home ownership. In addition to this, we also want to work with existing homeowners, just to kind of remind our existing homeowners the power of home ownership, to make sure that our existing homeowners are aware of current resources that are available in our community, to make sure that they don't fall into pitfalls where their home ownership can be in jeopardy. So there will be extensive information, like I mentioned earlier, on heirs property and estate planning. Next slide, please. Now, we have, as our president mentioned, we explored an issue that needed to be tackled in our community. So as an organization, we work to better our community. So we had to kind of take a look at the community and see where's the need, where can we help our fellow neighbors. And so we started to look at some statistics in terms of home ownership on a national level. And what we found was that there's been a steady decline since 2000, from 2000 to 2018. There's been a steady decline in the number of homes purchased and owned by African Americans in the United States. When we did some further research, what we discovered was 41% of African Americans are homeowners, as opposed to 71% of non-Hispanic white homeowners. So we had to discover and uncover why. What is the issue there? What is the issue that needs to be resolved? And one of the things that we found was that 13% of African Americans were denied a mortgage, compared to 5% of whites and 4% of Asians and Hispanics. So this goes back to the webinar series that we're going to be providing the community with, to make sure that we have things in order when we are ready to apply for a mortgage, so we will not be denied the mortgages that we are seeking. So after looking at this from a large scale, as a nation, we decided to come home and look at it on the Treasure Coast. And if you're looking at this slide, what you should see is some alarming rates, alarming statistics that makes you want to change what you see before you. So I'm going to point out a few things from this slide. There's a lot of numbers here, but we're just going to focus on a couple. If you look at the first box that says Indian River County, you can see the population is almost 160,000. But when you go down to the bottom of that box, it says the total of Black owner occupied homes, it's only 2,097 out of 159,000 individuals that reside in Indian River County. When we move over to St. Lucie County, you see the population at almost 330,000. And when you look down to see the number of Black owner occupied homes, the number is only 9,636. And lastly, when you look at the population from Martin County, it's a little over 160,000. And the total Black owner occupied homes is slightly over 1,000. So the current crisis that we are in, with Black home ownership on a decline for a number of reasons, have caused us to say we have to create a program that will empower our community, that will help with wealth building in the African American community. We have decided to target a certain population. Number one, our African American communities. We are looking to work with low and moderate income households, first-time home buyers, HBCU grads, and students that are attending HBCUs, and any individual from our retirement community, people associated with the Council on Aging. So these are the populations that we are looking to work with in order to change the current climate of our ownership in America. At this time, I am going to ask for a poll to be placed on the screen, and I ask that you answer the poll that you will see on your screen. So while the poll is coming up, I want to just remind you of what this program is going to look like. It's going to be a series of webinars. And in the next few slides, you will see what the series of webinars are going to look like. So we will move on to the next slide if our poll isn't available at the moment. Okay, so as we are preparing the next few slides, I want to let you know one of the series that we will be talking about is called Smart Money Moves. Now, this series is going to be broken up into 3 different webinars. The first webinar is going to be called Budgeting During a Crisis. And what we hope to achieve with this webinar is that our participants will have a decrease in debt and an increase in saving based on the skills that they learn throughout this webinar. It's going to be a hands-on activity, and it will allow participants to do some things that you will learn some skills, that you'll be able to apply in your everyday. And the ultimate goal, like I mentioned, is that you will decrease your debt and increase your savings. The next topic that we will be covering is taking control of your credit. And what the ultimate goal of this webinar series is that our participants will be able to go through this, learn some skills. You'll be able to learn about credit in itself. Like, what does it mean to have credit? What does it look like? What is a good credit score? What is the purpose of having good credit? At this point, you'll be able to pull your own credit report. You will have the information that shows you how to pull a credit report without affecting your credit. And our ultimate goal is to have all our participants increase their credit scores. Again, all part of this home buying process, preparing you for you to have the opportunity to discover the treasures of home ownership. And the last webinar in this series is called Investing in Yourself and Business Ownership. And what we're hoping is that our participants will start to invest in other means, invest in property and building wealth, just changing the game in our community and really focusing on how we can achieve home ownership and protect our home along the way. Now, I'm sure you're excited because I've given you some really, really interesting webinars that will be coming up. So I want to share with you when you can prepare yourself for these webinars. Okay, so if you look at the screen, at this moment, I ask that you please jot down these dates or take a picture with your phone so that you can have the dates of our upcoming webinars. November 19th, which is next Thursday, you can join us here again. December 17th will be our second webinar, and January 21st, 2021 will be the third one of that series. If you have any questions about any information that I provided, please feel free to type it in the chat and we will address all the questions at the end. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Tanya Lowe.
Thank you, Helen. Good evening, everyone. and thank you for joining us. As you learned from Helen, with smart money moves under your belt, you will be empowered to confidently pursue purchasing a home for yourself and your family. And you will be able to qualify for and take advantage of historically low interest rates. Our first-time homebuyers webinar series will include in-depth conversations about historical and financial perspectives of home ownership, because we are committed to increasing the number of African American homeowners by working with you as you discover the treasures of homeownership. As you saw from an earlier slide, the number of Black-owned Americans who own homes has decreased, and it's surprisingly low on the Treasure Coast specifically. But we have an opportunity to impact those numbers by taking advantage of these historically low mortgage interest rates, as well as taking advantage of the Smart Money Moves webinar and the first-time homebuyers webinar. Additionally, we will explore the financial benefits of home ownership and how it leads to creating generational wealth. We will also provide crucial information about finding the right mortgage and finding the right home. This part of the series will identify the various types of mortgages and available lending programs to suit you, as well as discuss the important stages of the mortgage process. So we want to work with you to move you from pre-qualification to pre-approval to actually an approval for your mortgage loan. In finding the right home, we envision walking you through the actual home buying process. So our webinar series will be hands-on, they will be very interactive and very engaging. We want to help you choose the right home for you and for your lifestyle. And that right home could be a condo, it could be a townhouse, it could be a single family home. We also want to walk you through taking a look at different community types. We have a lot of age-restricted communities coming up across the Treasure Coast. We also want to have you take a look at a lot of the homeowner association documents that go along with some of these communities that you may be interested in moving into. Our goal, again, is to work with as many of you as possible personally to help make your dreams of homeownership come true. Next slide. These are the dates that we will prepare to share with you this information about the home buying perspectives, mortgage lending, and finding the right home and mortgage. As you can see, we're going to start that training, the webinar series, on February 4th, 2021. And finding the right home mortgage will be held on March 21st. But please stay tuned for specific dates in March so that you will be aware of what's taking place. Now, once you register for the series, you will receive ongoing communication about each and every webinar. So we encourage you to register as soon as possible. Now, unfortunately, our poll questions are not coming up, but I do have a question. I'm going to ask this question, and if you will, answer in the chat. The question is, what is the minimum credit score that you need to qualify for a mortgage? What do you think is the minimum credit score? Could it be 500 credit score, a 700 credit score, a 620 credit score, or does it depend on the lender? So if you will, take a moment and put your answer in the chat. Okay, let's see what we have. Okay, so I see 650, I see 560, I see varies, 430, 720. I see a range of 580 to 620. Well, the answer is, it actually depends on the type of mortgage you want. We know that your credit score can vary really month by month, but what lenders are doing, lenders use not only your credit score, but they also use details from your financial history and other documents to determine whether or not you qualify for a home loan. All of these things you will learn during the Smart Money Moves. The Smart Money Moves series will detail how to take control of your credit score. And the First Time Homebuyers series will detail how to find the right mortgage and the right home for your credit score. Next slide. The third part of Discovering the Treasures of Homeownership webinar series will focus on wills, trusts, and estate planning. During this webinar series, we will focus on establishing Homestead, avoiding heirs property, and leaving a legacy. Now let's talk through what that means to you. As Helen mentioned, we are not only focusing on first-time homebuyers, but we're also focusing our attention on current and existing homeowners. Our goal and our vision is to help as many people as possible retain their homeownership and avoid foreclosure. With establishing Homestead, what we expect to do is we expect to share how you can take advantage of programs available for homeowners through the property appraiser's office and other entities. And again, our focus and our vision is to help you retain your property, but not only that, but to find those golden nuggets that's in your property, hence discovering the treasures of homeownership. In avoiding heirs property, this is where we will have quite an interactive session or sessions to discuss wills, trusts, power of attorneys, advanced healthcare directives, probate, and living wills. I mentioned wills. All of these are tools that you can use to help protect your property from becoming heirs property. Heirs property occurs when the owner of the property dies without a will. And basically that property is now subject to be sold or partitioned by all of the heirs from the person who is deceased. So we want to make certain that you have your will intact and in place so that you can leave your home to that rightful person that you want to take care of that property after you're long gone. And you want to make certain that you keep it in your family. During leaving a legacy, as Helen mentioned, we want to focus on leaving a legacy versus leaving liabilities. In leaving a legacy, this is where establishing a trust, establishing a will, purchasing life insurance can help you pass on generational wealth or wealth to your children, to your grandchildren, to your special nieces, nephews, or anyone special in your life. Leaving a legacy is something that in our African-American community, we are talking more about. In the past, we often talked about the liabilities that are left behind when someone passes away. So for instance, those who pass away without life insurance or without any other means, and if they are hospitalized prior to that, now the family is left with medical bills. That's a constant reminder of that loved one whom has gone on to glory. So what we want to do is we want to make certain that in our community, we're having more engaging conversations about wills, trusts, and estate planning during our third webinar series. Next slide. Our webinar series on wills, trusts, and estate planning, our program dates. We're going to start talking about, we're going to present our Establishing Homestead webinar in March of 2021, as well as Avoiding Heirs Property. That will also take place March of 2021. Leaving a Legacy, that webinar will take place April of 2021, but please stay tuned for those specific dates as we continue to work with all of the professionals that we are collaborating with to bring you a dynamic program. Next slide. Now, we are collaborating with some of the most phenomenal financial services professionals on the Treasure Coast. We are working with Truist Bank, formerly known as BB&T, and SunTrust Bank. We are working with realtors, attorneys, insurance agents, credit counselors, the property appraiser's office. We are designing this program with you in mind, and we are making certain that we are bringing the most professional, the most well-known professionals to help us bring you a dynamic program. Next slide. Our first webinar will start next week, November 19th at 7 p.m. And that is our Smart Money Moves webinar series. And we are so proud to be partnered with Truist Bank. With Truist Bank, they will provide professionals from their team to share with us vital information about smart money moves, first-time home buyers, and business ownership, and how to secure financing for your business ownership endeavors. So again, next Thursday, we encourage you to go ahead and sign up for our Smart Money Moves. We're going to start talking about budgeting during a crisis. And I think that this pandemic has helped all of us realize the importance of having a budget in place just in case of a crisis such as this pandemic. So we're going to talk about how to budget during this crisis, because we know that there has been a lot of loss of income. And so we're going to talk in detail about why we should still budget, how to create that budget, how to identify expenses and income, cost cutting, creative income creation, and resources to help you achieve your dream and your goal of budgeting during this crisis. And also how to look towards the future, because we want to make certain that in the event that we are once again in some type of crisis, we have that 6 months saved up, or 6 months invested somewhere, or 1 year saved up and invested. Okay, next slide. Now, this is an opportunity for us to see what questions you have so that we can get the best answer for you. One moment. Okay, so I do not see any questions in the chat. Next slide. I want to say a special thank you to our phenomenal Discovering the Treasures of Homeownership team. These are the most powerful women on the Treasure Coast, and they are dedicated to empowering and impacting and just engaging our community. We have Phyllis Gillespie Esquire, who's our chapter president. We have Dr. Wilhelmina Lewis Lyons, who is our vice president of programs. We have Dr. Elizabeth Jackson, who is our national trends and services facet chair. We also have Helen Lurie, who's a program coordinator, myself, program coordinator, Carrie Anderson, who's the chair of our communications, and Dr. Phyllis Wilson, who is our consultant. I want to say that this group of ladies are working diligently to bring to you a quality program that will definitely impact your lives and make certain that we are improving those numbers and increasing those numbers of Black-owned homes on the Treasure Coast. Next slide. Our registration for all of our webinar series is available for you to register now. Please take a moment to take down our email address and our website address so that you can contact us. You can register at our website, which is treasurecoastlinksinc.org, or you can send us an email to tclinksinc tclinksnts@gmail.com. Next slide. I sincerely want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to listen to meet with us and hear what we have in store for you here on the Treasure Coast. We are definitely looking forward to meeting with each and every one of you We're looking forward to working with each of you. We're looking forward to collaborating with all of our partners so that we can bring you a dynamic program that's going to definitely make an impact in your lives.
Thank you again, and good night.
Before we leave, I just want to say thank you again to both Helen and Tanya for such a dynamic and informative presentation. We again are extremely excited about this programming, and we really hope that each of you is as well. Make sure that you have taken down the information so that you can go to the website, or you can email us for additional information, or if you have questions that you didn't feel comfortable entering into the chat tonight. We look forward to seeing you again next week, again with our partner from Truist Bank, and we hope that each of you has an amazing remainder of the evening.
Have a good evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.